everyone, this is Heather Smith with Storyville Photography, and today I'm going to show you how to achieve this edit. This is my daughter, not a care in the world, just twirling around amongst the flowers in her bare feet. So this is where we are going to end, and this is where we are going to get started. So before and after. Now the first thing I want to do is make a copy of the background layer, Command J, and I want to get rid of this like red splotch right there. So I'm just going to grab the patch tool and select that little area, and then just kind of sample the green up here. A little bit more right there, and good. And the next thing I want to do is go up to the filter, Camera Raw filter, squeeze that in so you can see what I am doing. Up we go. Okay. And I want to go over to the preset option right there, and I'm going to choose the Simplicity 4 and hit OK. So that's the before and after there, and I actually should have done this when I was in there, but I'm going to go back into the Camera Raw filter, and I want to warm the image up a little bit, so I'm just going to move the temperature slider over to the right to where my eye likes it. That's a little bit too much, maybe like around 14, looks good to me. And then I kind of want to up the luminance in her skin, so I'm going to scroll down to here and go to the color mixer, and I'm going to select the orange and just kind of bump that up. And about that looks good to me there. So the before and after. Camera Raw is so powerful, guys. I just love it. So now I want to flatten this image. So layer, flatten image, because I need this background selected for what I am going to do. I'm going to go into the Dreamy Matte Action Pack. In this you'll find the Creamy Matte, Twisted Matte, and Basic Matte. And for this I'm going to use the Creamy Matte Action and hit play. And as you can tell, a lot is going on when you first select this. I'm going to come over here and grab my brush. Where are you? There we are. And make sure it's a black brush, 100% opacity. And I'm going to come down here and turn off the highlights and the contrast. We really don't want to add any more brightness to this image, or it's going to just blow out her dress like crazy. So yeah, those are going off for now. And I'm going to select the layer mask and the creamy base. I think I'll leave it at 60%. It just adds this like kind of fun blur, dreamy, just vibe to it. And switch back to white, so maybe you need to click on that first and then go ahead and make sure that the black brush is selected. And I want to mask this all off of her completely. I don't want any of the blur on her. If you're going to print this or you're doing this for a client, please spend the proper amount of time or it's going to look weird. You're going to get some halos and it's just not a good look. But for the tutorial purpose, I am just going to run through this really quick and make sure that that's all off of her cute little dress. Fingers. And if you go outside, as you can see right there, I'll make it bigger for you. Just hit the X button and it will switch to a soft white brush, and that's just a really easy shortcut to go back over if you get out of the lines. I think this looks okay for the tutorial purpose. And then I like to run it along the focal point line right there and bring some of that back. And then I need to get some of this off of the trees. So for the first image, I went through and I carefully went on each blossom and made sure it was masked off. For here, we're just kind of running through it really fast. I really don't want to bore you by just masking away the whole day. Okay, so that looks good to me. And then I do want the ground a little bit darker. We are going to be taking some of that bright fluorescent lime green away, but we do want the grass a little bit darker because without that it's just like too bright. And I'm going to turn that up just a little. So gonna select that and just turn it up to like, I don't know, 57 or 59%. And I'm gonna take that same soft black brush at 100% opacity and wipe it off of the trees. I just want that to stay on the foreground. There we go. And then I'm going to come over here on the color dazzle. I like how it looks on most of the image. I might tone it down just a little bit, except for the grass. So again, click on the layer mask, soft black brush, 100% opacity, and I'm just going to get rid of that. And that is the before and after. Such a fun action, guys. I love it. And I know y'all love the twisted matte. I always get great reviews on that. Such a fun action. So the next thing I want to do is go back to my actions panel and select the Storyville Wheat and hit play. Now again, a lot going on, right? But we are going to make some adjustments. So again, the first thing I want to do is turn off the highlights here. We don't need the highlights any brighter. And I'm going to click on this matte portion and I'm going to turn that down just a little bit. I like the matte, but I don't need it as strong as the action is set for. And you can mask, you know, I would probably come on here at about 50% and leave some of the matte on her. You can mask it all the way off if you'd like, or you can keep it full on, but I like to do about 50 for this. And that looks good to me. And I'm going to come over here to the mute yellows. And I just want to go again with like 55% and bring a little bit of the yellow back in these little dandelions, I think they were. And I'm not going to spend too much time on this, guys. But you get the gist. You bring in a little bit of that color back. Okay, and that will do it for this tutorial purpose. And then I'm going to come over here on the color dazzle, and I'm going to lower that just a little bit. And I think I'll probably keep that on the whole image because that looks nice to me. Then I like to kind of close it and see the before and after. And it kind of looks a little too washed out to me. So I'm going to come back in here and I'm going to dial back the mute yellows from 100% maybe down to like, and we'll play with this because now that I'm really looking at it, I'm going to mask the grass with this matte. I'm going to take it off of the grass. So soft black brush, we're going to do 100% opacity and just kind of run over the grass area. And that looks good to me. And now I need to turn this up just a little bit. Okay, and that looks good. So that's the before and after. And now I just kind of want to correct some of this red that's on her heel and her hand. So I'm going to go into the Storyville Retouch and hit the Storyville color collection, play. And I'm going to select the reduce red soft white brush because we're using a black mask, guys. Always remember it's the opposite color or it won't work. It will do nothing. And it's going to gray her out a little, but we will adjust it. That's just going to go ahead and take some of that brightness away. I'm going to dial that back to about, I don't know, like that looks probably good, 38%. Before and after there. And now I want to grab the Storyville Sun 3. And you can either drag and drop it or you can select it by hitting Command A, Command C to copy it, and then Command V to paste it. To get rid of the black background, select the screen mode, and then you can hit Command T to resize or move it around to wherever you'd like. I'm going to kind of put it off to the side here. So that's where the sun is. If you look right here, the sun's coming from that side. So I try and line it up and hit the OK. Now, if you notice, you will notice there's a distinct line going across from where the overlay ends. You can either add a mask and mask off that rough edge, or you can go to the filter, blur, Gaussian blur, and about, I don't know, 40% hit OK, and that will get rid of the line for you. And it's awesome. So now I'm going to add a layer mask. soft black brush at about 50% opacity. I'm going to mask a little bit of that sun off of her. I want to keep some of it on. And again, be very careful with your masking, guys, because halos are probably one of the worst things you can give a client when you don't take the time to like really get in there. Okay, and that looks okay for me. Before and after, it just adds that little wow factor that you're looking for. And the last thing I want to do is run the smoothing and sharpening action. So to do that, I need to flatten my layers because it needs to go on the background layer. So just go to Layer, Flatten Image. Okay. And then grab the smoothing and sharpening action. I gotta find it. And I probably passed right by it, guys. I'm sorry. I should know exactly where these actions are by now, but I don't. Okay, here we go. Step 1, smoothing. So I'm going to select that. Hit continue, continue, and that just makes it even more dreamy. I'm going to dial that back quite a bit and leave it at about 23%. And that looks good to me. And then I'm going to hit the sharpening. And there we go. I'm going to dial that back quite a bit too. And that all looks pretty good to me. I think I do want to darken the image just a teeny bit. I think I went a little overboard with the matte. So I'm going to just grab a curve layer and pull down a little bit on the midtones. And voila, that looks good to me. So if you remember, this is where we started and here is where we finished. So before and after. Thanks for watching, guys. You can find everything I used here at www.storyvillephotography.com. Thanks. Have a great day. Bye.